what we do here is go back.
I can never tell if this is working or not. Let's go with the assumption that it is working. Good evening, everyone. It's Sunday I always have to check this. Oh, why have you always got a message on your screen when you want to see the time? Sunday, the 17th of May, 2020, and hopefully you're all having a good, relaxing Sunday. And my Sunday's about to get potentially a little bit more stressful, but possibly a little bit more enjoyable at the same time. Bit of pleasure and pain. Going to be doing a build today in the Sharkoon RGB LIT 100 case, as I reviewed earlier in the week, which some of you have seen already. If you haven't seen the video, then maybe open it in another tab and take a look and stick a like on it. And put a comment if you want to. I don't mind, whatever you want to do. Anyway, let's get on with what is in the build, and then we'll say some hellos to some of you in the chat, and then we'll get straight into it. None of this Kerry Holzman messing around lark. We're going to get straight into it, hopefully-ish. So, introducing the parts. First of all, obviously, the Sharkoon RGB 100 LIT case, which is a mid-range tower, £50 in the UK at the moment, roundabouts. Comes with an RGB strip on the side, which we'll see a little bit later. Addressable RGB fan on the back, standard fan on the front. Nice mesh front, which is actually got glass in front of the mesh. Yeah, generally all-round pretty decent looking case, so pretty looking forward to building in it. Motherboard wise, we've gone with the B450 Gaming X. Now, most of this stuff was what was actually in the PC that's been behind me for a while in the InWin 103 case, but I decided to change it all around, so give this one a go, see what it's like. And actually, I hope this is going to be a little bit better for me. But anyway, let's get on with it. B450 Gaming X motherboard, B450 chipset, absolutely fine for pretty much most AMD builds these days. This board is kind of what I would say in the medium to high range of boards. It's not a cheapy one, it's not like A320s or the kind of lower end B450 HDVs from Azeroth, that kind of thing. Decent board, been using it for a little while, and it's yeah, doing me proud for what it cost. RAM wise, we're going with the old trusted V-Color RAM, so we've got V-Color Prism, they're 3200, there's DDR4 16 gig kit, two lots of 8. Again, fantastic RAM, no issues with it whatsoever. At 3200, it runs perfectly with the B450 chipset and the processor, which is the Ryzen 5 2600, which at the moment actually is a steal. About £110 here in the UK. 6 cores, 12 threads, was it 3.4 on normal use, 3.7 or 3.8 turbo, and you can overclock them pretty highly as well. It's only a 65 watt part, so you've got a little bit of headroom with it. We are going to be using the standard stock fan on this, because when I'm actually finished and done, I want to do some stress testing and see what the performance of this case is going to be like with what would be pretty much the stock settings for the case and stock settings for the CPU, motherboard and all that kind of stuff, just to give us a very good kind of benchmark of what it can do. Power supply wise, we're going with the old faithful Riotoro Onyx, the 650, it's a bronze power supply, semi-modular. I like it because it's got nice flat cables on it, blacked out cables as well, so it looks nice in the build. For the storage, combination of the Silicon Power 256 A80, which is an NVMe drive, which actually gets some pretty decent speeds and again is a good price. And long-term storage, we've got a Toshiba 2TB mechanical drive, that's 7200 RPM. This is actually one of the reasons why I'm changing the case around actually. The previous case, the 103, for some reason when it was on this counter behind me, which currently is occupied by our cat who's asleep, every now and then, because of the vibration of the drive, there would be like a weird resonance going through the case, and I really couldn't get it sorted. So we're going to see how that goes in there, see what the dampening properties are like for the actual hard drive cages. A lot of reviewers don't go into that kind of detail, and I thought, well, being as I've got a mechanical drive, I need to use it in that particular instance. I need it to be quiet because it's obviously in this studio setup. So it'd be interesting to see how it performs with that resonance going on in what is essentially a cheap case. Graphics card wise, we're going with this Power Color Power Color model. It's a 4 gig RX580. I don't think it's a Red Devil, I think it's the one below that. But again, this is one which actually has been refurbished, new fans, all that kind of stuff. We've done loads of videos on this actually. This thing's definitely earned its keep in the Mike's Unboxing household. I was going to put in the 1650 Super from Zotac instead, but unfortunately before I powered it all down and took it all apart, I forgot to uninstall the drivers and put the new drivers in. So I'm not going to do that, but I will be doing that as an additional video. We've had a few people on our Discord chat recently with issues with swapping over graphics cards and getting the kind of code 43s and all that kind of stuff. So I figured what I'll do is, generally I tend to go NVIDIA to AMD, and that's when I get the problems. So I'm going to go from AMD to NVIDIA, see if we can replicate some of those problems and see if we can fix them as well. So that's some more content which will be coming up. Cooling paste wise, for some reason the cooler in the stock didn't have any paste on it. Not entirely sure why that was. So paste wise, we're going cheap and cheerful. Again, I don't want to spend a load of money on paste. I have got some MX4 compound coming, but unfortunately it doesn't arrive until tomorrow, so can't use that. So I've got some of this just cheap stuff off of Amazon, which actually works okay. This is the HY710, which is basically liquid metal. It's very, very messy to use. There's these really, really fine particles of aluminium or copper or whatever it is in there, and it gets everywhere. Fine for applications, and it's got really good thermal properties, but it is a messy SOB, it really is. So I've also got this, which is the older version, which is the, this is the HCIB. I think this is what they used to call the HY510. Again, it's not brilliant, but it's more than suitable, and is pretty much the same as what AMD put on their stock cooling setup. So that's going to be absolutely fine. And again, we're trying to replicate that kind of stock out of the box experience. I think that's pretty much it for parts. So case, yes. Motherboard, yes. Storage, yes. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're all there. Also, we've got for tonight's extravaganza, we've got some side cutters, we've got some cable ties, we've got some screwdrivers, and we've got all our kit around us. So we're pretty much ready to go. So I'll just say some quick hellos to those in the chat, and then we'll get on with it. Now, actually, I have had this case out already, and I have done a few bits and pieces just to tidy it up a little bit and to do a little bit of sort of prep work, but nothing too outrageous. So it should still be interesting for you to see what happens and how it all goes, all that kind of stuff. And realistically, it's a Sunday night. There's absolutely nothing on TV because no one's making TV shows anymore. So what else are you going to do apart from stick along here? And if you are in the chat, or if you're watching the video at the moment, if you can, stick a like on the video. It all does help the channel to get going and all that kind of stuff. You know, all that kind of YouTubey algorithm stuff. So in the chat, we've got Milch Monster, Angry Doge, Sid Sloth, Ricardo, Thug Gamer, Craig Little, or Lily, sorry. My eyesight's awful, it really is. Sky Stalker's in the house as well. Ghost Adder's here. ClickTech Kev. Harmon Tarquini. I'm not sure if I've said that right. Close enough. Nigel Thomas, we've got Richard. Kath's in here, obviously, because she's always with us. Supernova Wolf. Who else have we got? I think that's pretty much everyone. AKA Beast says hi as well. Yeah, we've got a few new people in. We've got Ferry Fish Ploder, Flash Play. Can we just have some normal names like John Smith? It makes life a lot easier. AKA Liam. Glenn's in the house as well. Super Goofy Extreme says hello. Got Nax in the house as well. Cody Moore says giveaway. Unfortunately not. I'm not a rich person currently. And we got the Bludgeon in the house as well. So that's the hellos out of the way. The Bludgeon says sorry for my not normal name. Yeah, it's all your fault. Keith Driver's in the house as well. So we'll say hello to a few more of you as time goes on, but let's get on with this because time is of the essence. So let's get rid of the case first of all, and we'll start prepping the motherboard. Now, like I said, some of it has been prepped already. Trying to drop this. Oh my God, it nearly went. So we don't need the power supply right now, so we can put that to one side, and we don't need the graphics card for now. So again, we'll leave that to one side. The PCI Express storage, NVMe drive's already been installed because, like I said, this was from my previous build, so it's already on there, ready to go. So we don't need to do anything with that, but installing an NVMe drive is pretty much super simple. There's not really a lot that can go wrong. Don't quote me to that. So let's have a look at this motherboard again. B450 Gaming X. Not a bad board actually, I quite like it. Unfortunately, like I said in previous streams, all the stuff that is connected to this PC is pretty much all MSI. So yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't quite fit the bill. But if Gigabyte, if you're watching, or anyone from Gigabyte is watching, if you want to send me a keyboard, mouse and peripherals to attach to your Gigabyte motherboard, I'll be more than happy to keep it on the shelf. But I do like to have my stuff matching. Is that sad? It probably is.
Matthew Bennett says hi to Flame.
Matthew Bennett says hi to Flame. Flame, say hi. There he is. Sorry, didn't mean to wake him. Okay, so here's the motherboard. As you can see, we've got the NVMe drive installed already. This is silicon power, like I said, runs on the Fizzon, whatever you want to call it. Runs on a Fizzon controller. It's got DRAM cache, all that kind of stuff. Really fast drive, actually. If you've not checked out any of Silicon Power's M.2 drives or their NVMe drives, SSDs, all that kind of stuff, even their memory stuff, it is actually really good stuff. They don't get enough credit for what they do, to be honest with you. Okay.
I want you to move your tea in case you spill it.
Move my tea in case I spill it. Actually, I'll take a slurp of my tea. Although it might be a bit hot still, so burnt lips time. Oh, there's no sugar in that.
There he is.
You sure? I'm losing my taste, I swear.
I did. Do you want another in there?
I'm losing my sense of taste and I'm getting a bit of a temperature. Things are not looking good for me right now. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get this processor in. Actually, let's do the RAM first of all. The RAM's going to be in the way. Let's do the RAM after. Oh, I am so decisive. So processor-wise, let's say we're going with the Ryzen 5 2600. And if you've not installed one of these before, it's actually very simple to do. It's harder to get out of the box. All you need to do is open up the retention arm on the motherboard. And if you look on the motherboard, it'll say on there AM4 or Gigabyte or whatever it is. Just make sure that the writing on the chip is facing the same way as the writing on the socket, and you'll find that it'll plop straight in. And there we go. Just give it a little wiggle on the top, make sure it is firmly seated. Sometimes you can hold your finger on it and lower the latch down and put it into place. That pretty much seals the deal. And this is going to be the bit which is probably going to be triggering some of you, so let's get on with that and let's put on some thermal paste. Like I said, this is the, I think it's HY510. It's not the best, but it certainly does a job, and for the sake of about £6, I think it is, you get, I don't even know how much is in here, there's tons of the stuff. Literally, the last lot I bought was maybe 15 years ago and it's lasted that long, so anyway, there we go. So actually, Kath, do you want to get the little camera and we'll do a close-up on the installation?
As long as I don't get caught on the big camera.
Kath won't be seen on the big camera. Let's switch the camera feeds over now. That should have changed over. Hopefully. There we go.
What have we got to do?
Just look at that. Wait for it to update. There we go.
Oh.
Hopefully you can all... There's an echo. Oh, I've got bloody microphone on, haven't I? Yeah, mute my microphone. No, I haven't. Oh yeah, I have. There we go. Is the echo gone? It's not focusing particularly well, but it'll do. So various ways of doing this. You can either do a little dollop in the middle, or you can do a crisscross. So I'm going to do a smallish cross, and that is more than enough. In fact, it's probably a little bit too much. So I'll spread it in towards the middle bit so it goes everywhere. Look at that. I've made a right mess of this on live internet stuff. And then I've moved the board. But that's going to be enough. More than enough. Right, so next thing to do is to install the cooler. So let's get the cooler out. Again, we're going to use a stock cooler. And what we're going to need to do is actually to remove those two locating lugs which are on the motherboard. So let's get the screwdriver. And on these here, just remove these screws. Up a bit.
It's so delayed.
there is a massive delay on the camera, so it's very difficult to line it up. There we go. So take out all 4 screws and then take off the plastic clips off both sides and put those somewhere safe for safekeeping. And then we've got to line up screws here, here, here with the screws on the motherboard. The AMD logo, you can choose to have whichever way you want. I'm going to put it around this way. Let's get a couple of those screws lined up. It's looking good. And sometimes with these you need a little bit of firm pressure to get them started. And just go around in a kind of crisscross situation until it starts going. You feel it. Although that looks like I've done loads and loads of screws, I haven't, it's just that it didn't grip straight away. And then just do them in opposing corners until they won't do up anymore. And there we go, job done. Then all you need to do is plug in our fan connector into our CPU fan header. So that's good. Oh, it's, well, yeah, you guys can see that now. And then we can tuck the cable in just to keep it out of the way. And there we go. We're pretty much done. So now what we need to do is to put the RAM on. So RAM slots using 2 and 4. So open up the retention arms. Actually, we'll close those ones because we don't need those ones. So we're going to use in slots 2 and 4. Those are the ones which are recommended for dual channel on most AM4 based motherboards. And get one side in, line them up and snap into place. And then rinse and repeat. And you should get a nice satisfying snap when they're in position. So we've got our RAM installed, we've got our CPU installed, we've got our processor installed, and we've got our SSD installed, or our NVMe, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. So now we can start prepping the case to take it all back in. Oh, didn't really say what I meant there, did I? Sorry, didn't see you guys there.
Done with me?
Yeah, I'm done with you now.
So delayed.
There is a massive delay on the camera. Zippy doo 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 doo. Okay, so we're going to stick all this back in the boxes. Always a really good idea when you are doing this. Keep all your boxes, keep all the bits and pieces in case you've got any kind of RMA situation that needs to be taken care of. Which actually I've got an RMA situation for some Corsair RAM, believe it or not, which we need to get on with, but I digress. So let's get on with the case. Now we might need Kath to come over and do a little bit more of our expert camera work. Clear a bit of room and get the case ready. Get the side panels off and all that good stuff. Now for those of you that may be interested, you might be, you might not be, I don't know. It kind of was interesting to me. The geometric pattern on the front of this glass, in the video, the review video, I did actually mention whether I thought the actual print would come off. And if you look very carefully, if you look carefully down here by the Sharkoon logo, just here, there was, oh my finger's going the wrong way, there was a link in bar that went along, I can't do it in the reverse angle, there was a link that went from there down through there somewhere, and I managed to use a sharp Stanley blade with a little bit of WD-40 and just sort of scraped it away, and it comes off really easily. So if you are considering one of these and you don't like the geometric pattern, there is another pattern you can get which is like zigzags, but again, if you don't like that kind of stuff altogether, the printing which is on here will come off. It doesn't come off easily, but it will come off. So if you want a bit of a job, certainly you can do that. The only thing I found you can't scratch off, or didn't seem to want to come off, was this black surround. So you may still be left with these lines already. So again, you may or may not want to do that, but I thought it just might be a bit interesting for those of you that might be considering it but don't like the geometric look.
So is that my job tomorrow?
yeah, that's Kath's job tomorrow, possibly. It's a shame actually that the RGB is connected via wire rather than pins. Otherwise, you could kind of take the front panel off, take it away and do it properly, but it is connected with a cable which you'd have to disconnect to remove it completely from the case, which you can do, but it's just another hassle. So take off the side panels. You're getting ready for more camera work. Kath's scared to be in the video. Okay. Dropping stuff.
Might make it hurt.
Yeah. So in a box, in a case, we've got our accessories, instruction manual or installation manual. I tried saying both words at the same time. That never works out for me. So what do you guys think about the wider camera look? I've got the camera a bit further back on a tripod so you can get a bit more width of what's going on here. I don't know, you might like it, you might not. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so case-wise, as you can see, pretty much most of the stuff is okay already. The fan's installed already, straight out of the box. The front fan was in the lower slot down here, so I've just moved it up one for cooling the graphics card more so, rather than cooling the basement, because why would you cool the basement? There's no point. Yeah.
Get your head through there.
Can I get my head through it? I don't know. Let's try.
You get stuck and COVID.
Can somebody please get ready to call the emergency services in case I get my head stuck?
Boys, does it remind you of birth?
Yeah, it's like childbirth. Ooh, I think it might go. No, I'm not going to do it. It's going to get stuck on my nose, and I've got a big nose, so no, that ain't happening. Thanks, Sharkoon, for sending me this case, and I'm doing it proud, honest. Okay, so let's get the power supply in before this all goes completely wrong. Power supply is probably the best one to get in now. Some people may want to put the motherboard in first because... Am I stuck on something? I know, I'm just weak. You may find in some cases it's actually better to put the motherboard in first or put the power supply in first, again depending what the clearances are like. I have actually had a look at this one. There is a decent pass-through there for the USBs and also for the HD audio connectors. There is a gap left when you put the power supply in, which is a really good thing to see, so thanks Sharkoon for thinking of that. Whether it is an accident or whether it is intentional, I don't know, but whichever it is, it works great, so that is pretty fantastic. So let's put this power supply in. Again, Riotoro, this is the Onyx 650. It's actually been a really good power supply. I've used it in, well, most of the builds, to be honest with you, apart from very, very recent ones. I've used it in pretty much everything, and it's been, yeah, pretty much flawless. I can't complain. Being that Riotoro sent it to me for a review, then it would be kind of bad to complain anyway, because it didn't cost me anything. But it hasn't lit on fire, and it hasn't caused me any issues, so happy days. Yeah, hopefully it won't throw a Paddy now. It's in a Sharkoon case rather than a Riotoro case. But that's what PC stuff's all about, a bit of mix and match. You don't want to use, you don't want to use everything all the same brand, as he says about all the MSI stuff in the background, but you know what I mean. For stuff that you're not going to see, I wouldn't worry about it too much. A bit of mix and match is fine. And you find there's quite a few manufacturers that don't actually make everything, so you can't. The only, I suppose, MSI, Asus are probably some of the ones which actually make mostly everything. Gigabyte to a lesser extent. ASRock are kind of getting there, but MSI and ASRock, Asus rather, pretty much make everything you could need apart from the processor itself, really. I think they did even branded RAM at one point. Anyway, let's move on. So power supply's in. Now power supply, all we've got connected is the 24 pin. We've also got a SATA connector. We've got our main CPU auxiliary power, which is the 8 pin. And also we've got our dual 8 pin for the graphics card, which I think is pretty much all we're going to need. The onboard controller for the RGB uses a SATA connector. The power supply, the Hard disk drive uses a SATA power supply connector. Words is hard right now. You know what I mean. So we don't need any Molex is what I'm trying to say. And we should have more than enough connectors on there. And as long as the wires reach, which I'm pretty sure they will do, we can stick all the SATA cables down in one section down in this bottom corner to keep things nice and neat, which is awesome. So cable wise, that one's going to go up there. That one's going to end up somewhere along here. And doing this sort of thing, you don't have to do it, it's just something that I generally do just to kind of get an idea of where everything's going to end up heading. So we've got these two cables which are for your RGB pass-through and also SATA for the controller, like I said. So we'll put those to one side, so the power supply's in. Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape now, so we can put the motherboard in. So let's stick those around there. And hopefully all of this stuff will not fall out as I flip it over. I probably haven't thought this through, have I? I very rarely do. Building a PC on camera is very, very different to building one in your own home.
Somebody said on the stream last night they built a PC with their daughter filming it, and it was just so horrendous.
Building a PC is horrendous at the best times, but doing it when there's people watching or when you've got someone with you or whatever, yeah, it just generally makes it even worse. So let's put the I/O shield in. So actually, Kath, if you can grab that other camera, please. And the cat's getting up.
Hello.
Get back in your box. Good night. Oh dear. Right. Actually, probably best from that side. So I/O shield goes round this way. So keyboard, USB, all that kind of stuff. You get the idea. That's the way it goes. So trying to avoid any wires. Try and get it into one corner first of all, if you possibly can. It's a bit difficult for me to see actually. Is there something there? Am I catching on something? And there we go. Sometimes these do require a little bit of force, which is a good reason to buy a motherboard with a installed shield already. And that doesn't seem to want to go in. Am I a little bit too... Oh, this is flexing. Ah, there we go. Okay, so that is a pretty close tolerance on that one. But that's what it should look like once you've got it all installed.
Am I actually even showing that?
Yeah. Ooh, hello. So yeah, you can see that that's installed, and that didn't flex too much. It did a little bit, not too bad. Okay, so let's put the motherboard in. So we'll drop that in from the top.
I can't get it.
Bear with Kath as she gets back up. So we've got the motherboard, and I'm going to drop this in. So move those wires out of the way, and then all we need to do is to line up the lugs. And if you look at the back, you can normally tell if you're in the right vicinity. There's a cable there.
Probably making everyone's travel sick.
Yeah, Kath's making everyone travel sick. Is there something under there? No. That's better. Go look on the back. So there we go, that's how it should look. Nicely lined up. And all the pillars on the bottom of the motherboard should all be in the right places. Hopefully you can see some of that. And now all we need to do is to screw in all the headers. Get it back a bit. So there's a screw there, screw there, screw there, screw there, screw there, screw there. There's one there which we're not going to use, and then the board actually weirdly goes up to the edges of these three as well, which is a little bit odd. Slightly strange sized motherboard on this one. But we get these screws in, which is probably not the most exciting thing you're going to see tonight. But in saying that, I've been watching some of the UK press releases from the government, and compared to those, this is like being in frickin' Disneyland. So normally I start with these and I get the middle one in first, just to kind of centralise everything. And it's a good time now as well to have a quick look on the back, on the I/O panel, just to make sure that everything is lined up. And there's nothing odd going on there, because once you've got all the screws in, yeah, you are literally screwed. So with the screws, do them up until they're kind of reasonably tight, and then give them one little quarter turn just to cinch them up a little bit, and that should be fine. You don't want to over tighten them if you can possibly help it, although they are relatively straightforward to remove if you need to. And I'm sure those of you that have built PCs before have done that before now, where you put a screw in and it's threaded, much like I'm doing now. Actually, is that the wrong size thread altogether? Yeah, it is, wrong size thread. So these are all the fine thread screws rather than the coarse ones. And a bit of a trick to this, if you're finding trouble screwing in with ease, wow, that was so, yeah, anyway. So if you're having problems with the screw when it's not tightening up, go anti-clockwise until you feel or hear a little click. And then you can screw in with confidence, because it's just where it's not lined up quite right on the thread, but a little bit of a counterclockwise motion generally will sort all that kind of thing out. I've done it again there, so quick little anti-clockwise turn and the job's a good one, as they say in the trade, and I can say that because I'm in the trade.
What about a loosey lefty? Loosey
lefty, yeah, a little bit of loosey lefty, then you can have a little bit of righty tighty. Remember that, kids.
Never heard that until you used to say it.
Loosey lefty, or oh god, lefty loosey, no, loosey lefty? Which one is it? I confuse myself now.
I've never heard it till you said it.
You confuse me now. Okay, let's, the pillars on the end, these ones here, they're not being used, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the screws in anyway, and they will actually hold that board in place a little bit. So I'm not going to over tighten those again, just till it's kind of just about biting, and then a tiny little turn just to keep things secured. Now the reason I'm doing this is because this is a metal case, obviously, and metal, like all things, has a tendency to vibrate. So because those pillars are so close to the board, if there's a little bit of movement on that board, it could end up resonating through the rest of the case. So by tightening it down, it just stops there being any loose edges of the motherboard, because that is quite a large section of motherboard which could flex around there. So a little bit of a screw on the side will help things stay in place and strengthen the board as well. It will make the whole back panel slightly more rigid, and that is what we like to see, a little bit of rigidity.
You're going to plug your fans in?
Am I going to plug my fans in? I am going to, I think. I'm going to do all those things. Right, okay, so this is our front fan, and we've only got the one front fan, so it's going to be nice and easy to do. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can't. I'm trying to get rid of these tweezers, as supplied by theverge.com.
Oh, are tweezers those twisty things?
Yeah, I think so.
Or I thought they were cable ties.
Well, I don't know what they're supposed to be. I just laugh along with everybody else, to be honest. So with this one, this is going to plug into the bottom here. So probably what I'll do is I'll route that round the back. So we'll do that in a little bit. Somebody in the chat remind me later to actually attach that.
Don't attach
please.
It and call you Carrie.
Yeah, call me Carrie. This one we can plug in now. So this is for the rear fan, and that can go onto this header here, which you probably can't see because it's dark AF. There we go. There's that one tucked in there. And we just fold these wires back into the heatsink area. There isn't a positive airflow through this heatsink, so it's not going to affect the airflow or anything. And that's relatively tidy. It could be a lot worse. Trust me, I've done much, much worse. Let's put the power supply connector in. So we'll stick that in. A little bit of flex on that board, which I'm not overly keen on because there's not a lot of support on that side edge, but it does what it does. Okay, so we'll go back to the other camera now. Yeah. Move, Kath, run, 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 run! Oh no, press number 4 again. There we go, number 2. Sorry about that. Did you enjoy that little interlude? Kath ran out of the camera shot quick as possible. So we can tuck that right there because we don't need much of that, if anything. So now pretty much we can feed the wires through the back. There's quite a few wires to go on here, so we'll go through bit by bit. So this is your CPU supplementary power connector, which goes through the top. Again, this is brilliant because there's a massive hole there, and the motherboard's got super easy access, so we can plug that in, and we'll get that in straight away. In fact, actually, I can probably do that without even seeing it, just doing it by touch. He says. Nope, he lied. Oh, I had it around the wrong way. That's what she said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it round clockwise, so the wire is then going to trail towards this side of the case when I've actually attached it. Oh, hear that? Positive click. So that will end up running down the side here. And we're not going to do any cable management to start with. We're going to get it all working, or get it all fired up, get everything pretty much in place. And then what I might do a little bit later on is do a little bit more cable management just to tidy things up a bit. But ideally with this, the best thing is to probably not cable tie it to begin with, just to see if there's like a rat's nest of cables in there, will the side panel still fit on without causing any issues or any kind of real grief. So I'm going to have a quick swig of my cup of cola. And we still got viewers, or have we put them all off yet? Oh, we got a few. That's all right. There's still a few of you with us. God bless you.
The letter's just come in. Did you miss much?
There definitely isn't sugar in that.
Do you want me to put some in?
It's all right. I think I am losing my sense of smell, taste, whatever.
Taste of smell in your mouth.
The taste of success, everybody.
The letter's in.
Hi, Aletta. How are you? You didn't miss anything apart from me jibber jab. You missed a bit of loosey lefty and a bit of righty tighty, but other than that, yeah, pretty much the same old really. This one is your HD audio, so that one is going to go towards the back, so that can pop up through there. And like I said, even with the power supply fully installed, that cable passes through really nice and easily, which is such a relief. Because those can be a real pain, especially if there's any issues with that.
We don't like your coffee being there.
You don't like my coffee being there?
It's got no sugar.
It's tea.
So
it's sugar free. It's cool.
Put it behind you.
I'll put it over there. There we go. Be calm, everybody. It's all good. Right, we haven't got a graphics card in yet, so we could probably do that as well in a minute. We'll put through the I/O connection. What I've done with those is I've actually stripped them back a bit and I've braided them like you do with like a, well, hair allegedly, and cable tied it at the end just to keep it all nice and neat, so it keeps it all together. Don't know why, something I've always done to some extent to braiding cables. It used to be that these I/O cables used to be all split all the way up to the end. It's only very recently that you've managed to get them all in like kind of one ribbon. But having them in one ribbon also gives you the problem of cable management because it's a flat cable, whereas with a kind of braid it goes around anywhere. Anyway, I'm going a bit off topic as per usual, so we'll pass that through to the approximate area. So that's ready. The power supply, that is the RGB connector. So actually we can definitely put that on now. So that passes through, and the RGB connector for this particular board is at the bottom, again in this bottom corner, so it's nice and easy to get to. So we just pop that one on, he says. It doesn't help when I've got a studio light blasting my eyes this way and it's dark in here. Oh, go on. They really should design these RGB headers a little bit better. Like maybe like the USB ones where there's a little bit more of a chance of you actually getting the things to stick. But I suppose that's the last thing we need, isn't it? Another RGB standard. That would be a bit of a nightmare. Okay, I'm really struggling with this one. I'm going to have to spin it around so I can get some light on it. Actually, if I change to the other camera, you should be able to see it a bit better. So RGB connector is down in this bottom corner. Don't know if you guys can see that very well. So RGB is in this bottom section, and there's our 3-pin connector. So we'll just pop that on. Just pop that on, he says. I've tried popping it on twice. I just don't want to have it. There we go. We'll get there eventually. Mind you, British Rail said that years ago, and they yeah, went bankrupt. Next thing to do, we're going to do the front panel header, which is this one here, which my finger is probably in the way.
Is that my Jimmy Savile?
The front panel header. So the front panel header is pretty much your standard setup. So if we start from the bottom, so on the bottom we're going to want our hard drive LED and the positive terminal on the left hand side. And that goes down in that bottom corner. Next to your hard drive you have your reset switch. So reset switch can go in next to that. And then on the top half you've got your power switch, which is above the reset switch.
Is it RX580 good for a 550 build?
£550 or 550? What? I don't get what's the 550? The money?
I don't know. It just says, hi, is RX580 good for a 550 build?
They'll need to be a little bit more elaborate on your questionnaire. If you mean £550 build, then yeah. I'm trying to think what else a 550 would be relevant to. I think that
Monster thinks the front panel is ugly AF.
the front panel is ugly AF. I don't take it personally. That's absolutely fine. I'm not going to be crying about it. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. That's for damn sure. So we put the fan connector on the bottom. I am going to have to run the system fan header checker again. Always do that whenever you install any fans on different headers. You always should run your fan profile settings again, just so the motherboard can pick up the high and low spots, just so you get the right speeds out of it, and so it doesn't sound like some kind of fighter jet trying to take off. Now I've made this rookie error here. I should have actually taken out one of these blanking plates for the graphics card to go in, but hopefully it's not going to rub on the motherboard, which I don't think it is. This again is one of those things where when you get a cheaper case you don't always get these things which are removable, so you have to snap them out. We can chuck that in the bin. And actually we can put the graphics card in now, might as well do that. So we can loosen off the thumb screws on the back. There's this retention arm, and if we get a screwdriver, I can
a B550 chipset, we think.
B550, ah yes. If it's for B550, then yeah, that should be fine. Until B550 actually hits the shops and hits the shelves, everything is a little bit kind of open to speculation. But in theory, yeah, if you're using a B550, essentially it shouldn't be that much dissimilar to the existing 450. Yeah, did I say 450 or 550? The B550 and B450 are essentially going to be pretty much interchangeable, as in specification wise and also price wise. We are, well, at least it's looking that way at the moment. Oh crap. So yeah, if you're considering using a B450 board, essentially now you're better off using a 550 because it's going to give you slightly more features, but hopefully for a similar price. And even if it gives you, even if it costs you an extra 10 to 15 pounds or dollars, it's probably going to be worth it for the slight future proofing that you may or may not get. So graphics card, we can just slot that in, line it up, and that should snap into place. And then just put some screws back in just to keep it where it belongs. Now this isn't the easiest of things to do because I'm having to screw through there, and that is my blind side totally, so I haven't got a clue where it's going. It looks like we've done all right. Actually, so far, I hate to say it, but this has actually been a pretty decent case to work with. I've had no issues, apart from my own inability to find the right holes for the RGB. Again, as per usual, yeah, it's actually been okay. Now, the one thing I will say is the front USB. If your board has got a USB which is down at the bottom, which I'll just point out, so if your front USB is down there, you're going to struggle. If it's on this side, where most boards have it, it's going to be absolutely fine. But it's actually quite a short cable, which, whether that's by design or whether it's just the version I've got, but unfortunately, if I tuck it through this bottom bit, I'm not going to have enough room to bend it through. So I've got to take it through this side bit, which I don't like doing. But unfortunately, it is what it is. So we'll stick that through, and I don't like USB connectors. Have we got it around the right way? Yeah. There we go. So there's our front USB connected. Again, that is not ideal by any means. And it's actually putting a little bit of pressure on those, so that's not great. But yeah, that is a bit of a downside about this particular chassis, that these USB cables weren't quite long enough. Which again is a shame, but again, not the end of the world. I suppose you could get an extension on there quite easily, but it's an extra cost that you don't necessarily want or need.
Linda Movick heard if you use the M.2 slot, it can affect the number of available SATA kit connections.
It can on certain boards. The B450 boards for sure, A320s, less so with the X570. But yeah, the B450 chipset shares some of the PCI Express with the SATA controller, is the general rule of thumb on that. Flame, you coming out? No? Okay. Right, let's plug in the graphics card, seeing as we're in that neck of the woods. And I suppose we've got a few options of where we can route the cable through here, but I think probably next to the USB is going to be preferable at the moment. So we can stick that in there. Get in there. And it looks like we've had a super chat come in. I can't tell who it's from, unfortunately, because I can't see the screen at the moment. But let's have a look. Kath's going to turn the lights off. Actually, I'll turn the other camera on. Is it Matthew Bennett? So for those of you who don't know what's going on, I don't know what's going on half the time myself. So whenever we get a super chat, the disco ball goes crazy and starts doing stuff. And basically it's a way of me giving a little bit something back, even if it is just a little bit of electricity and lights. But we do love our RGB, so thank you Matthew Bennett for that. Do appreciate that.
Thank you.
He says, keep up the good work and sorry it's not much. Hey, anything helps, even if it's just watching the video and clicking on the like button. That is more than we can expect from most people, so to get a super chat as well is awesome, so thank you very much. Nak says, at Xbox Gamer, that is a very nice looking case. I guess we're not talking about this one. We'll have a look.
Is the video card sagged?
Is the video card sagged?
Or is it the camera angle?
I think it's probably the camera angle. Let's have a look. Which camera are they looking at the moment? That one?
I'm not sure what else. I think it was on the other camera.
Now, I have got a laser pointer level, but this thing doesn't always read true. So even on the desk, it's slightly out. Although if I turn it around that way, perfect. So let's try that. If anything, yeah, it is slightly, ever so slightly sagged. Not massively, but yeah, it's definitely not entirely 100% level. Although, let's turn this around the other way.
Can't really see that.
There we go. Hopefully you can see that So it's not, yeah, not level by any means, but it's close. Close-ish. And it's all gone dark again.
Thank you, Nigel Thomas.
We got the RGB is going off again, and thank you to Nigel Thomas. 2 UK pounds. Thank you very much, Nigel. Look at that. I do like the look of that bulb. Some things are easy to please me. We're back on the right camera now. I haven't got a clue. I don't know what's going on. What time is it? What day is it?
Sunday.
Oh yeah, Sunday. Damn it. Work day tomorrow. For some. Okay, so let's put the SATA cable through before I forget, because we're going to have to put a hard drive in. And what I think I'll do, if I stick it into one of these ports down the bottom, that is pretty much going to be hidden then, because it's with all the rest of the other wiring. And we'll take that straight back out of there. I suppose really could have taken it out through the front, but I suppose really you want to hide the wires as much as you can. So I think as far as the wiring's done on this side of the fence, I think we're in a pretty good place right now. So we've got our RGB controller on, we've got everything on. ClickTech Kev, he's donated to UK pounds also and says, should be enough for a bottle of Coke, Kerry. God bless you.
You need more hair.
I need more hair, and I need many more veterans in the chat before I start going down that route. Thank you very much. Nack says the Thermaltake level 20 is sexy, and Skystalker's getting in on the case as well with 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you, Skystalker. Skystalker, everybody, is a lovely, lovely, lovely man. He genuinely is. He's pretty active on our Discord chat, and he's always in our streams and always doing donations. You're amazing, man. Thank you very much. I'm welling up here. And I think you've probably broken the bulb.
Again.
Yeah. I think that's Skystalker's actual aim, isn't it? To destroy our RGB bulb. Turn the lights back on, Cav. He's broken it again.
Can you turn off switch while I'm Wi-Fi?
Anyone who's got a Google device, please mute the screen now. 3, 2, 1. Hey Google, turn off plug 1.
Okay, turning off the plug 1.
Thank you.
You have to turn it back on, don't you?
Okay, right then. Let's try and sort out this rat's nest we've got going on back here. So first of all, let's get ourselves a hard drive caddy. I was just looking at that. Have I damaged the cable already? No, I'm all right. So hard drive caddy. I've not used this before. Actually, it looks like it's got rubberized dampers on, which I think I spotted in the video. I can't remember if I did or not now. So that is not a bad little caddy actually. Seems to hold it and squeeze it quite nicely. It's pretty painless and toolless. Although it won't go back in now. What have I done? Have I broken something? Is there a cable in the way? Okay, what am I doing wrong? Help me. Oh, there we go. It is a pretty close tolerance, so it's not going to be slopping around in there. And actually, hey, the whole thing's rubber dampened. The hard drive cage itself is rubber dampened, and also the mountings are as well. This case surprises me more and more the more I find bits and pieces of it.
The more you finger it.
The more the more I do things with it. Cat's trying to get me into trouble. Yeah, the more things I find, the better it is. And let's take that out of there because that's tangled around stuff. Get back in there. So yeah, that's actually, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not entirely convinced about that front panel, if I'm completely honest. There's some things I can kind of tolerate and I can live with, but I don't know whether that geometric pattern is going to be something that I would like to see on a daily basis. If that's being completely honest. As much as I'm thankful to Sharkoon for sending me it for the review purposes, I honestly don't know whether I can cope with that front panel. I genuinely don't. It isn't everyone's cup of tea, and it does seem that nowadays the entire market is kind of coming around to the idea that mesh is best, which it is. It always has been. You look at any of the popular cases of the last 15-20 years which have been good for cooling and have sold really well. Starting off, you had like the Antec 900 series, which was basically a full front mesh. That's on the Bit Phoenix designs. They've always been meshed. The H500 from Cooler Master, all meshed down the front. What else? We've got Meshify, obviously. The name says it all. All of those cases which have been really, really popular. The only one that I would say which hasn't been popular, which has been popular, which hasn't had a mesh, which has been like ridiculously popular, was the S340 from NZXT. That has done really well, despite not having a mesh. But it was in that kind of era where everybody wanted like flush or plain slick front panels on their PCs. But then I think we all kind of learnt the lesson that actually it's probably not the greatest of ideas. So yeah, just goes to show how things change and how tastes change in general, really. Anyway, I'm digressing. So let's take away some of these wires. I got a feeling we're not far away from powering this thing up. So what I'll do is when I've got it powered up, we'll run the Q fan settings from the Gigabyte software, get all the fans leveled out and equalized and all that kind of stuff. And then what I'll do is I'll run some benchmarks on it. We'll do some CPU-Z, the stress test on there, and just take a look at some of the temperatures in Hardware Monitor and see what the temps are like in this thing pretty much off the bat. I don't think I've got Unigine Heaven on here or anything like that, so I might have to download Furmark or something. Again, if people are interested and they want to see that sort of thing, then definitely we can do that. Or I may come back to it at a later date if there's not enough people interested, which I totally understand because it is. It's Sunday, people got things to do. Places to go, people to see.
Toe beans.
Flame's got his toe beans on show, I think. Look at the toe beans, everybody. If you don't know what toe beans are, get ready because you're going to find out right now. Look at those, my friends. Those right there are toe beans. Little toe beans. Tickly toe beans. Sorry, Flame. My bad. Ah, dear. What can you do? He didn't like that. Bless him. I don't think he's going to like it much when we got to move him out of there.
And he's not going to like it much when we go back to work.
No. I think he's going to like it even less when we go back to work. This cable management sucks. It really is bad. But that's a good thing about cable management. You can always come back to it. Because it's always going to be a mess however you leave it. Hey, what's that I've forgotten? Oh, that's the USB header. I suppose really I should plug that in as well. Although who uses USB 2 in 2020? Jeez, man. At least it's easy to get to, he says. Oh, these pass-throughs are really good, actually. Quite pleased. Not as pleased as I can't see a thing. I'm blind as a bat, I really am. USB. Nice thing about Nice thing about Gigabyte motherboards is all the headers are actually really clearly labelled. Even if you are a blind old fart like me, you can still see things quite easily. Right, so let's tuck these in here. I should have done that in my best Welsh accent. We'll tuck these in over by here. That wasn't very Welsh, was it? If there's anybody Welsh in the audience, I do apologise for you being Welsh. Cal's completely in another world altogether. Oh, come on. Go on, get in there. No, let's try the other side. Normally, it's not a very good idea to bend SATA cables. But in this particular instance, it's justified. Anyway, that'll do. We want to see what this thing runs like, don't we? We're not too worried about the cable management, but even still, actually, even with that rat's nest in the back there, I think the back panel's going to go on absolutely easily. Just make sure that all those connections are on before I turn it on and find out that it doesn't work. Good thing about this side panel as well is it's got like latches, so they just match up on the side. And there we go. Boosh. Oh no. I was so confident then and just completely I've ruined it. I've let myself down and worse, I've let you guys down.
But would anyone notice?
Yeah, no one would have noticed. They're all chatting amongst themselves, they don't care what I'm doing. Okay, so please let this work. Please, dear Flat Earth Santa and baby Jesus, please be nice and let this work for me first time when it boots up. So I don't.
Grommets on the pass-throughs?
No grommets on the pass-throughs. No wallets or grommets on this case. Don't throw panels around. It's generally not a good idea. I suppose I should do the peel, shouldn't I? Which I haven't done yet. Oh, look at that, screwing with confidence. I have noticed there's a bit of a wobble to this case already, where one of the feet aren't quite the right size. But again, it's not a big deal. You can always put a little bit of rubber underneath them. I quite often actually put rubber pads underneath cases, so actually I've got a couple that I keep here just as spares, because most cases generally tend to be a little bit wobbly.
You sound so Carrie then.
Why?
Don't know, just did.
I sound like Carrie? I hate you. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okie dokie. So let's, should we do the peel? Or should I fire it up first and then do the peel? So that's you guys. See what everyone says. No, there's such a delay, it doesn't really make much difference, I don't think. So let's just fire it up. I've got to try not to trip over my microphone.
Putting it where a flame is.
Yeah. Oh my god. Who told me to put my tea back there?
Everyone.
Right, everyone. I'm unfriending you. Right.
Actually, am I in it?
Come on, Flame.
Just put it on the table.
Thank you.
Fast asleep. With your eyes open.
Have I forgotten anything? Probably not. Now you're not going to be able to see the front panel particularly well because it's slightly hidden on this particular setup.
Look at you now.
So, LAN cable of our keyboard and mouse. Let's have a little bit of HDMI, a little bit of power. Oh, hello. Where's that one? That's the keyboard, I think. What am I missing here? Power? No, nothing. That should be it. Can they actually see that in there? What have you got on now?
I don't know. The advert is kind of gone off.
Yeah, you can see it. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, you SOB.
Is it because you turned the switch off?
No, because the LEDs are on.
Yeah.
I bet I know what I've done. I bet when I plugged in that USB 3, I've moved the power connector. I did have a sneaking suspicion that was going to happen. where's my head torch? Head torch, very good idea. Oh no, it's better than that. I made a proper rookie error. So, I actually put the front panel connectors on.
Should you turn that off first?
Nah, that's right. So I put the power connector, actually a couple of little, well, one pin across wrong.
Oh, flame's weird now.
And it looks like I've done the same for the reset switch as well. Power switch. There we go, panic over.
Bang!
And there we go.
You didn't take any notice anymore.
I don't need to do that. Hey, we've got some RGB. Right, let's put the side panel back on, because hopefully we won't need to do that again. Although saying that, we don't appear to have a signal. Oh, here we go. New CPU, of course. Oh, actually, also RAM training as well. Let's get these screws back in. And log into Windows. Get even more out of Windows. Hey, what's going on? Skip for now. Have they?
Yeah.
Oh, bless them. Normally I would have fell for that straight away. I really would.
But
So,
when I jump out at you, you still scream, don't you?
oh yeah, I scream like a girl, definitely. Not that that's a bad thing, obviously. If you're a girl, it's not so good if you're a bloke. Right, let's clear away some of this stuff while that's booting up. But what do you reckon? It looks alright, doesn't it? I quite like the look of that. I'm not entirely sure why it's all lit up red at the moment. That is a slight concern of mine, but no doubt I've plugged that in wrong as well.
Plugged.
Where are we? So Gigabyte. Actually, where is this? Is this even the right drive? No, I didn't install the software, did I? Hey. Okay, let's get the software on. I'm sure it's in my downloads. Utility App Center. Set up. Right, let that install a minute and I'll start packing this rubbish away. But there we go. Wasn't too painful. Actually, quite a nice little case to build in, actually. Have a look through at your. It looks like someone's mentioning the V color RAM. That RAM is awesome. I do love this RAM. A lot of people have not heard of V color, and they are definitely a lesser known brand for sure. But their RAM just seems to work, and it works really well, and it looks really nice, and it generally is pretty cheap on the whole. Especially compared with things like Corsair. I would say that the V color RAM, the Prism, is probably in the same range as quality as the Dominator.
What about the timings on that?
The timings on those are CL16. I'm not sure the rest of them. I haven't got the box here actually. I'll have a look on there. I don't think the timings are particularly tight. And Chris Tech Tips is donated £5. It says, enjoy. Well, certainly will. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Chris Tech Tips, check out his channel. We say that to all the Super Chat people. If they've got a channel, go and check them out. Spread some love. Obviously, Obviously, don't spread too much love because coronavirus and social distancing and all that kind of stuff, but you know what I mean.
Check out Kev's channel.
Yeah.
Because he donated and you didn't do that.
Yeah, check out Kev's check out
Click Tech.
Click Tech Kev's channel. Click Tech.
Click Clev. Every journey.
Because he did a nice thing also. Actually, Skystalker, he's got a channel as well.
Yeah.
So you can check out his aeronautic acrobatics. That was difficult to say. Chris Tech Tips is throwing in another £10. So yeah, definitely go over to Chris Tech Tips' YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and share his content. And share the love. Again, not too close because coronavirus. Jal Stinson says, check out my channel too, but it's actually been hidden and held for review. Skystalker says my channel sucks. Hey, so does mine.
It's okay if you like red.
Yeah. Yeah, if you like red, my channel is awesome. Oh, is that installed yet? I forgot about that. One thing I don't like about the Gigabyte motherboards is they've got this weird App Center thing you have to install, which is basically like, I don't know, it's weird, I don't like it. It upsets me on a lot of levels. Chris Tech Tips has obviously stolen someone's MasterCard or debit card and has fired in another £20. Thank you so much. Chris, I hope you get enough viewers to make this worth your while. Yeah, thanks.
Maybe
Times.
we should put them in the video description.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll stick you in the video description if you like. So future viewers to this can actually go and visit. Actually, yeah, Chris Tech Tips is today's sponsor officially of the video stream.
We've only just found that out though.
We've only just realised that, and he's only just realised that, but it's definitely a thing. So put up this centre because I can't stick looking at red LEDs for the rest of the evening. That's going to upset me greatly. And actually, I've noticed already, it's a lot quieter. The hard drive isn't rattling and driving me slightly insane. Gigabyte Center, so let's open that up. So the Gigabyte Center, actually, if I show you on the camera, you can check it out. So hopefully you can see some of this, but this is the Gigabyte App Center. So you click on, where is it? Gigabyte Apps. Where is it? Is it this one? Live update. English, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You can change the colour. You want to make it red, go with everything else is bloody red.
Red, you got on their screen behind you.
Oh yeah, red on the screen. Whoa! Chris Tech Tips is throwing us 50 UK pounds. Unbelievable.
As we were talking red.
I'm going to have to check out Chris Tech Tips YouTube channel.
I'm there.
Oh.
Oh no. Wrong one.
That is ridiculously generous. Thank you so much. Yeah, today's stream was brought to you by Chris Tech Tips, for sure. Everyone's going to be asking for a donation now. Gigabyte Apps. Where is the applications for this? Third-party software. No. This is. Why does it always do this to me? There is supposed to be Gigabyte Apps. There should be loads of stuff there which populates. Right, let's close that down. Exit. I'm going to go back into it again. Gigabyte. Let's find it easier. Come on. Be nice.
That's been put in our description as from now.
Let's run it as administrator once. Why would you not do that? Okay, never mind. Right, let's go to downloads. RGB Fusion, that's the one we want. Hopefully get rid of these red LEDs. Not a big fan of red LEDs, I've got to be honest. RGB Fusion 2.0, here we go. Now the RGB Fusion software, you probably can't see it particularly well on a webcam because, well, it's a webcam. Chris Tech Tips has gone in with another 10. Wow, Jesus. H. Corbett.
It's in the video description already.
It's in the video description already. You can stop paying now. So go over to CTT or Chris Tech Tips and check out his channel.
Link in the description.
I'm trying to actually, Kath, I'm hiding the camera.
Oh.
There we go, Chris Tech Tips. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. I don't know.
Desk.
And Kath's messy desk. Oh, and look, and we've got all blue now. Right, let's put on the other camera because that's getting a bit silly now. Matthew Bennett says, "I love you, Chris." Gooseller says, "This stream was brought to you by Chris." Oh my God. Another 20. Right, seriously, you need to stop right now because that is just insane. And if you have stolen a credit card, then that's a very bad thing. Although, if you've got a rich relative, then that's absolutely fine. Right, I'm going to change the lighting on this thing. So, RAM, we want wave and apply. And let's speed that up because I don't like it being slow, so apply. And RGB header, we're on the digital LED. And apply, yeah. That's in the wrong place. Why is that in the wrong place? Yay! Oh, I'm happy now. Well, partially. Apart from the App Center not working as intended. But there we go. Hey Google, turn off the studio lights. Sorry. There you can have a look, see what you think. The stream lag is incredible. And let's turn that off. Is that any better? Probably doesn't help with that one on, does it? You've done the wrong account?
I think so.
Have you? Blame Kath. Kath's done it wrong.
No, they haven't noticed.
There we go. What do you reckon? There we go. I actually think that looks pretty stunning. And I've just realised one of the fans isn't spinning. So I need to install the software for that because I've already set it to something very low. But that front panel, I quite like that front panel. I think that's pretty impressive. Does look nice. And that side RGB strip's pretty decent also. Oh, and I've got to restart the computer now. Hey Google, turn on the studio lights. Let's turn the lights back on. Ay, ay, ay. Oh dear. Well, I better cover up the password when I plug it in. Otherwise Chris will be going into my bank account and getting money back out. Okay, so let's have a look at some... Angry Dave says, looks okay, not as good as Corsair cases. You are slightly biased on that one. Fairy Flash Powder says, looks lovely. Sick build though, Mike. Thug Gamer says, I feel like he is a Mr. Beast clone. You never know, you never know. Aletta says, not much into RGB, but that looks good. So yeah, I think overall, Kev says looks nice, Ricardo says nice. Yeah, happy days. Chris Tech Tips is throwing in another £5. Man, seriously. Thanks, I'm slightly dumbstruck, which does happen. Kath's had to run in now and turn the lights off. You've missed it.
I ran down the stairs.
Incredible. Linda Movic, yeah, I think that's right, says, even the retro patterns look good with LED lighting. Yeah, it's funny actually how when the PC's off, those geometric patterns on the front look a bit weird, but actually when they've got LED going through them, it looks kind of like, what's that game? Oh, Tron from the 80s. It looks a lot like the Tron game and movie.
Can you make it faster?
Can you make it faster? The RGB effects you can pretty much do what you like with in the software. The RGB Fusion should be working now. Yes, it is. So if we can make it a little bit faster. So that's made it a little bit faster. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, actually it doesn't look too bad at all. The front fan still isn't spinning, so I need to have a look at that and see what's going on. But it actually seems pretty quiet, which I didn't expect it to be.
Is the Acer monitor FHD or?
Yes. It's FHD. It's doing a fan calibration. Did I actually plug in the fan? I'm sure I did. Did I disconnect that?
Is that the one that you said you put through around the back and
Yeah.
did you ever do it?
I think I did. I don't think I did. I didn't do it. I didn't plug in the fan. I'm not going to do that now. We'll do that later, maybe. Skystorm says you might have missed a pin there. Maybe I have actually. I'm going to have a look.
I'm going to do it now.
I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. Definitely going to do it now. I wonder if it's actually because I've set it into the smart fan already.
And like Boris then.
2, 3. No, they're all set to that, so it should be spinning. I was like, Boris?
Yeah.
What?
Not going to do it now. Going to do it.
I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it now. Go to work, but stay at home. Stay at home, but go to work. Don't go to work. Stay at home.
See, when you had the cat behind you, if you'd sat a bit lower, you would have looked like him with the ginger hair on them.
Did I plug it in?
Chris Tech Tip says do it now, so you need to do it now.
Okay. Chris is the boss. Yeah, I was one pin out again. Oh, that Sharkoon fan is very, very quiet. Amazing. Right, let's do the Smart Fan Auto again. And how do I get it to recalibrate? I always forget this bit.
Can't see that monitor.
Actually, I'll set them all to full speed. And even then, it's very quiet.
Let's see how it moves your hair.
Out. There. Stick on standard. Yeah, even on standard settings, actually, with the standard fan profile, it's pretty much silent. Yeah, the worst noise culprit in there at the moment is the stock AMD fan, which kind of you'd expect, because they are pretty awful. Let's put these thumb screws back on. And I think what I'll do, if I run a...
Do your thumb screws first.
I'll do the thumb screws first, yeah, because I don't want the glass falling out. But I don't think the glass can fall out, actually, because it's on those lugs.
Bang!
Bang! Would you stop that? Oh, where's the bloody hole? There it is. Thank you.
AMD stock fan doesn't count.
Yeah, AMD stock fan is rubbish. But actually, saying that, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be quite a lot louder. Okie dokie. Yeah, it's a shame not to have that on. Oh crap! Nearly lost the whole lot.
I nearly knocked it off earlier actually.
It's fine. Right. So in hardware monitor, let's have a look and see what our temps are currently. So in idle. So at the moment, most of the cores are at 3700 or 3750. And the highest boost at the moment on them is 3866. So yeah, not too bad. The package at the moment is at 41 degrees and dropping. It's because I've just opened it up after having the applications open. So yeah, that's not too bad actually. Considering it's a stock cooler. Oh, it wants to calibrate the fans again. Damn it. I give up. Right, I'm going to pack this stuff away and then we'll have a... Sorry?
You didn't do the peel.
I haven't done the peel? Alright, let's do the peel. Is it going to happen all in one with one hand? Oh yes. I still got it. There. And we're looking sharp. It's been a long day. It has been a long day. Genuinely has been a long day. And I've got work tomorrow as well. So I've got to go out and fight off bloody corona bacteria everywhere. Not good. But still, life has to get back to some kind of normality at some point. So now's as good a time as any. And hopefully I live long enough to spend Chris's money. Although, let me know, people, what the money from the super chats goes back into the channel. So what do you think I should get? What is next on the agenda? What would you like to see reviewed? Skystalker says thumbnail picture there. Yeah, definitely. Alessa says, so it's so nice when the warning stickers are on the plastic instead of the glass. Yeah, definitely. Put some RGB in your potato. Okay.
Something you want to know about the card.
Tropical Musical or whatever. If you reset PC, the light effect's changing all the time, or you have light as blue. If you reset the PC and the software's not working, you can go into the BIOS and you can actually change all the settings for this particular motherboard in the BIOS. Fairy says MSI Core Frozer or Dark Rock Slim. Linda says nice understated black case build, just enough LEDs. Yeah. Ricardo says, will there be a benchmark test of that build soon? We can do some benchmarks now if you guys are happy to stay along for the ride. We can try and do a few benchmarks. Ghost Adder says B550. B550 is definitely on my shopping list. It seems, from what I can tell though, there isn't going to be a MSI B550 Tomahawk with the initial release of the first 5 boards. So there's a Carbon Pro, there is a Gaming Pro, an HDV. I can't think what the other ones were now. There's basically 5 boards that are coming up on the B550 chipset on the first release. And unfortunately, there isn't going to be a Tomahawk first of all. It's going to be later on, either later on in the year or wherever. So that's a little bit of a shame. I really would have liked that. Chris Tech Tips is coming with another £10. Now he's gone out, he's robbed someone on the street, and he's taken their money now. What all going towards new parts, so you all get to benefit as well as I do. I get to use it, but you get to see it being used, which probably isn't great. Still no sugar, but I'm getting used to it. Right, so the fans have... What are the fans saying? So currently our CPU actually will go down to 20%, so let's ramp that up a little bit, because that's a little bit on the low side anyway. And we'll apply that. Don't think that's going to make any difference at all at the moment. So system fan 1, not bad. So the motherboard's actually registering 34 degrees at the moment, which is not bad at all. System fan 2, again that's registering 34 degrees. System fan 3, which isn't connected, but is kind of doing something. I'm not sure where it's got it from.
Camera on that.
I should have the screen jacked in really, shouldn't I? But anyway. So let's close that down, so we're happy that's working. Get rid of that. Go. Oh yeah, program will close, yeah, whatever. So yeah, we're hovering around the sort of 40 degrees mark now. The ambient temperature in the room currently, I can find where I put my temperature monitor. Where did I put it?
This thing.
No, that's my temperature monitor. That's no use.
Yeah.
Where did I put it? Oh, I know where I put it. No, I don't know where I put it.
See what temperature you are?
Hey, I find it. No, I don't want to do my temperature because it might say that I'm like,
Cradle.
I am getting quite hot. It's quite worrying. I don't want to be ill. Okay, so currently the temperature in the room is 23. I was reading it upside down. The current temperature is 23.2-ish, I think. Is that about right? It might be a bit warmer in the room. It's going up.
Oh yeah, 23.3, yeah.
What does it say, Kath?
23. I can't see that far.
Oh, you're useless.
See? It's a bit delay, isn't it? Um, 37, 34.
37, 34?
Let's start.
Oh, 33.7. That's all right, I'm not dying. Not yet, anyway.
That's quite cold,
Is it? I feel warm though.
isn't it?
I feel quite warm. Everyone's saying 34C. Is that good? Am I live?
Interesting question.
Mother. Always listening to my shit, always. Right, okay, so we've equilibralized.
Kev says it only says hot stuff on it.
Equilibralized at 40 degrees C on the package at the moment. And
camera on it.
our GPU is currently at 41 degrees also. So that's just idling. So it seems like the average case temperature is about 40 degrees, which kind of I would have expected because there isn't a massive amount of airflow. If we had another fan on the front, I'd imagine we'd get that down to about 35, maybe 32 at a push. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick on, what should I put benchmark? What have I got? Right, CPU Z, let's go with that because that's quite an easy one to do.
X Game Boxer wants you to get a Corsair AIO cooler for your phones.
Get a Corsair cooler for me heat. Okay, so let's get on bench and let's stress the CPU and see what temperatures that cranks up to and see how noisy it gets. So I'll leave that running for a bit and gives me a chance to have a look at some of your questionnaires. So what we say now, 24. So ambient temperature is still rising, so it was a little bit cooler in that drawer than what it is actually in the room. So it's like 24.5 at the moment, roughly, and it seems to be still climbing a little bit. So for argument's sake, let's round it up to 25. For argument's sake, 25 degrees is probably about right anyway. It's quite warm in here. So 40 degrees is 15 degrees over ambient. So that's actually not too bad. W Tech says, evening Mike. Good evening. M Tech says, I'm late, I missed the build. Well, that is the beauty of internet. You can rewind it and watch it later. Fairy Flash Powder.
This means
That really, I struggle with that.
flash powder like firework.
Flash powder. Oh, got it. Awesome. Heading out now. Thanks for the build, Mike. Definitely buying this case soon.
You
Oh,
explained it earlier.
awesome. I'm glad to hear you like it. Aletta says the ambient temperature here is 29C. Wow, that's pretty toasty. Keith Driver says, hey Mike, does the Colink Stronghold take SSD in the back? I've got to be honest with you, that was so long ago that I had that case, I honestly cannot remember.
Ghost Adder says it takes 2.
Yeah. Ghost Adder says it takes 2, but from personal memory, I've not got a clue. Not got a clue. ClickTech says it just says hot stuff on it. There you.
You need to move it.
Sorry, I'm going backwards on the questions.
No, these are earlier.
Oh,
These
you're
are later.
later. Okay. Linda says during the lockdown, my relationship with my Amazon Echo has become a bit abusive. We're seeking counselling. My relationship with Amazon is getting a little bit tired. I got to be honest with you. I know there's like pandemic going on, but I still need my stuff like the same day or next day.
I actually told Alexa I love you, because that's quite funny.
Yeah, if you say tell Amazon's Alexa that you love her, it's kind of
I love you.
say I love you. It's very bizarre. Fairy says yes, correct, Kath. Yeah, Stinson says yeah, it took a month to get a case. I think that is. Says Chase, but I hope it's a case. Matthew Bennett says the 2600 will be better, more cores for gaming. I didn't see that question, I do apologise.
Just slightly above what you are now.
Was it? Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Mike, actually I have a quick question. I'm building a budget rig for the missus next week, mostly for gaming. Should I get a 2600 or a new 3100? If they're the same price, I would probably get the 2600. The 2600 is a pretty decent chip. The 3100 is going to have a better IPC and is going to be faster core clockwise, but still only 4 cores, 8 threads against 6 cores, 12 threads. So yeah, I would probably go with the 2600. Really, it comes down to price. If it's purely for gaming, the 3100 is probably going to do it. If you can get one maybe £30 cheaper than a 2600, then maybe that would sway it. ClickTech says, oh God, Alexa is singing to me.
Have you heard her do it, babe?
Yeah, I have, yeah. Skystalker says, I gotta say the pandemic has made me find alternative buying solutions rather than Amazon. Yeah, it's, I think the high street, despite the fact that, well, whatever the conspiracy theory is to shut down the high street, I think the high street is actually doing really well. Now, I work part-time in a high street store, and their sales figures have gone through the roof because everyone who visits the shop actually needs something rather than just in there browsing and killing time. So if you're going to the shops now, it's because you actually need to spend money. So it's a win-win situation for the retailers because every customer you serve, you're pretty much guaranteed that they're going to open their wallet or flash their card or whatever. So yeah, it's Amazon is now kind of the browsing place and the internet is like where you browse, but if you can, you're better off going to a high street store and buying stuff. Especially for general stuff like foods and stuff. Although, having said that, we have used the Amazon Now shopping service. Prime Now. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can use Prime Now and get deliveries from a Morrison's store like within 2 hours of your order, which is pretty fantastic. And generally it works good. The first order we had was fantastic. The second one, not so great because they were a bit limited on stock and like replacement items.
And they didn't reply to me on the messages.
And they didn't reply on messages and stuff like that, but otherwise, not bad. Bucky Cats in the house and says, hi guys. Ghost Seller says, like Spike. I don't know what that means, but thanks, I think. Do I mean that? Ricardo says, the 2600 is the better of all. If you're thinking of future consideration, then the 3100 with a B550, if not a B450 with a 2600 will be enough. Yeah, that's essentially what we've got in there. Sorry, just reading Linda's question. And also, Amjad Rafiq, I think I've said that wrong, possibly, maybe, says I'm new here. Well, thanks for joining us. And what are we looking like on the temperatures? I just looked at the hard drive temperature and it actually says less than what the CPU was just now, which is slightly odd. So all cores at the moment are currently pegged at 3910 megahertz. Sorry, no, 30. I'm looking at the peaks. They are all at 3641, which is pretty much what I would expect to see at all core boost stock settings. And temperature-wise, wow, it's not doing great, to be fair. It's at 79 degrees C, which is a little bit on the toasty side. Although, from what I can see, it doesn't appear to be throttling. All 6 cores or 12 threads are currently pegged at 100%. So it's not got to the point of throttling. I think we can probably get to about 85 before it starts throttling, but it's still within that kind of like scary zone. So that's not particularly good. But again, it is a stock cooler, so you can't really expect too much out of it. It doesn't actually feel particularly warm. There's a little bit of heat coming through, not a massive amount.
Is that taller than the last case? Because will your headset?
It is a little bit, and I'm a bit concerned about that.
Or will the cabinet have to come down?
I nearly thought I'd have to move my shelves again to fit my headset on top of there. That is upsetting. So 79 degrees seems to be pretty much where it's going to stop at, I think. It seems to have stayed on that for a little while now. Doesn't appear to be going up. And actually that is with the dust filter in place. So let's try it without the front dust filter and see if that actually has an effect. Because that is quite a common consideration. And actually, better still, I'll just take the front panel off. Try not to break it. And see if the the front panel is actually restrictive. Oh, and the air filter wasn't on particularly well anyway. So let's see if that comes down. I'm relatively sure it's going to come down probably maybe 1 or 2 degrees. I don't think it's that much of a restriction, the actual front panel. I think the restriction really is going to be that magnetic dust filter because it's right slap bang on top of the fans. But we'll leave that running for a minute or so and see what happens with that, and hopefully that'll go. Sky Stalker says, with no intake fan and no mesh front, sounds about right to me.
Matthew Bennett asks, who's the build for?
Matthew Bennett, the build is for no one. It's, well, if anybody wants it, they can buy it, but it's currently it's basically my PC from behind me, which I use for doing some of the YouTube videos, tutorials, that kind of thing. It used to be my streaming PC, but recently I've gone more to the laptop for that particular thing. So, yeah, it doesn't really. I was thinking that today. It doesn't really serve a particular purpose apart from being essentially a very expensive light source. But we'll see. I might get rid of it. I might start again. WTech says, my first 2600 was running 86 degrees with the stock cooler last year when running Prime, so it did get a little toasty. It definitely did. Ricardo says, I will only consider Intel on the next generation if AMD becomes the empire. It could start getting that way. It really could. Aletta says, I've had the 1600, 2600, 2700X, 3600, and now I have the 3800X. They're all really good CPUs. Yeah, they are. I'll agree with that. WTech says, well, the missus is an Intel fanboy, but I don't want to pay 50 euros more for a 9400F when it only has 6 threads. I want her to come to Team Red. Yeah, just put the AMD stuff in there and stick an Intel badge on the front. Depending on how knowledgeable she is, she may not even know, and probably wouldn't even wouldn't realise the difference.
Is there a top and bottom for dust filter?
There is a top and bottom dust filter. So there's one, actually, let's have a quick look at the temperatures. Yep, as I expected, we've dropped down to 78 degrees. And has it affected the throttling at all? Nope, we're still pegged at... Yeah, it's boosting a little bit still, so 3,642, and then it bounces up sometimes to 36, 69, 71, 42, 40, 41. So it is still trying to push itself a little bit higher. So it's not getting to the point where it's sort of under pressure throttling. So let's try it now without the magnetic front dust filter, which I'm presuming is going to make probably about another 2 degrees difference, I would have thought. Maybe 3. If we get it to 75 degrees without the filter on, I think I'll be pretty happy on a stock cooler. Power delivery wise, for those that are interested, we're currently pushing 1.188 volts to the cores at the moment. Maximum was being 1.313 and the minimum is 1.175. So it's actually not pushing much voltage through at the moment. CPU-Z, the all-core stress test, isn't a particularly intensive one, but it's quite good to see because you can see from the levels if it's dropping or thermally throttling. And it seems to be pretty much pegged as the CPU multi-thread test at 3,379.1, which is actually not too bad at all. We're down to 77 degrees, so we've dropped off a degree. Processor now is starting to see a, well, I was going to say, starting to see a few little spikes now, but no, it's still doing all right. Still at 100%, getting a couple of 99%, but overall, yeah, as the temperature's coming down, we're now 36, 66 pretty much all the way through, bouncing up a little bit down. It's pretty much stuck at that now. So it seems to be running pretty well. Temperature doesn't seem to be getting out of control. Although saying that, we have got the front, we have got the dust filter off. Down to 77. So it doesn't really appear that the mesh filter actually makes a massive difference. Both have dropped off maybe 1 degree. So the front panel being there and the dust filter being there is like 1 degree. So if I put the front panel back on now, just with the front panel and no dust filter. And we'll see if that goes up much. I can't imagine it will. I'd imagine if anything again it's going to go back up maybe 1 degree. It's probably an idea to take the filter off the top because that's basically stopping some of the hot air rising out the top. I generally leave those kind of stuck to the side of the PC because very rarely do I use them. So I'll stick those. That's a good thing about magnetic filters. You can just stick them on the back of the PC and pretty much forget about them until you need them next. So for me at the moment, this is pretty much what I would consider the optimum kind of setup. So just the filtration on the sides there. So essentially no real filtration, but still most dust particles are going to struggle to get in through those side vents and underneath. Most of your dust particles are going to come in kind of like floor level. So if you had a fan there with a dust filter or like the mesh front, you always get those mesh fronts, they just get clogged up with dust pretty quickly because the dust is being pulled straight through. But because the fan is there and there's various airflow paths that the dust has got to go, you generally tend to get less dust.
WTech asked, how are the PSU prices in the UK? It's almost impossible to find a budget PSU here in Belgium and Holland.
PSU prices here are horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I've heard that around that they are... prices are jumping up everywhere, they really are. PC Part Picker is going to be your friend here, so go to pcpartpicker.com, choose your local region, and you can go through and find your power supply. Generally they'll find the cheapest one in your region, whether it's through Amazon links or whether it's from a local retailer or whatever, but it's always a really good place to go. Do you want to get the cake? Show them the cake. Our daughter baked a cake today. I think that's what Kath's been having a conversation with. Have you?
No, no.
Oh,
I just
right.
said she's been cooking all our meals.
Yeah, our daughter's been cooking all her meals. It's been fantastic because she's not been at work. So today it was our birthdays about a week ago, and at the time we didn't have a cake. We wanted a coffee cake because we like coffee cake.
We didn't get any ice.
And we didn't have any ice and sugar and all those kind of stuff. So we've Angel today and George made us this. Look at that. That is an awesome cake.
It spins that thing.
I might steal this for doing my reviews on. But there we go, look at that. Cadbury's chocolate buttons over a coffee cake thing. How cool is that? Hopefully, sorry if I'm making anyone feel hungry, but I had to show it, it's awesome. Skystalker says it looks awesome. Yeah, that is pretty dang good. Ricardo says he's going to go. His mum wants to see things on Pinterest. Thanks for the build and have a good night. Thank you. Trent wants to ask a question because he's new here. If you're new here and you want to ask a question, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to hit that like button, and then you've got to click on the subscribe button and the chime button, and then you can ask as many questions as you want. You might not get them answered, but you might not even get the answer you want, but I'll do it. Matthew Bennett says, spin it flat out, Mike. Yeah. I look like I've been in one of those really terrible adult films.
But if you play it right, you might get chocolate buttons for eyes.
Alexa says, wow, I'm going into diabetic coma just looking at that. ClickTech Kev says, I made some meringues today in the microwave. They were hideous. That's meringues for normal folk.
Who did that? Kev?
Yeah. Captain Me's Ventures says, hey guys, totally forgot. What did you forget? To watch the stream? Confused. Skystalker says, at Trent Shorter, we will help you out. Oh yes, we will. WTech says, put a piece of cake in the intake fan, Mike. I don't think that's going to help with the cooling a lot.
Can I chuck a piece at you?
No, actually, that is a very interesting thing. Now I've put the front panel on. Don't throw at me. Now I've put the front panel back on, even without the magnetic filter, we're back up to the 79 degrees mark, which I didn't think we would. I thought we would stick lower than that. Now,
Sorry, baby.
what was our... Oh no, having said that, we are actually boosting frequency a little bit more. We're just shy of 3700 on all 6 cores. So it seems the motherboard is actually doing a really good job of working out what temperature is, what the limitations are thermally, and boosting the processor up. So regardless of where we get temperature wise, we may get better clock speeds. So it'll always try and hit towards that 80 degrees thermal limit. I don't think it is a 80 degree thermal limit though, I'm not sure. I thought it was 85, I could be wrong. Although saying that, I've never really tried to hit it that long, at that kind of temperature, because it's not always a great idea. And also we've got new thermal paste on there as well to some extent, so that's going to need to bed in slightly before it gets to its kind of optimum
Burn off a bit.
thermal stuff. Yeah, it needs to burn off some of that. So right, let's stop that, and I think what we'll do is if we get some, what is the Cinebench? We'll try some Cinebench on there and see what that's like.
Trent asked, the GameMax F15M, is it a good case for the RX580 XT?
Yes, definitely. That is a great case. I'm still using mine over there for my video editing PC.
For airflow.
And for airflow, yeah, it's brilliant. It is a great case. There's nothing I can say which is bad about it.
Apart from they put the price up after you reviewed it.
Yeah, they did put the price up, so yeah, that was a bit rubbish. Right, let's get Cinebench R20. We'll quickly download that. Make sure it's you, put in your PIN number.
Matthew Bennett's going.
Right, there's that going. Matthew Bennett says, I'm off now, you lovely pair. See you next time. See you later, Matthew. Take care. Thanks, Skystalker, for putting that link in there. We've got Jassy S. It says, hi from Canada. Another of our Canadian brethren.
Yeah, Vancouver.
Thanks for joining. Ostro says, have you built it yet? Yeah, it's there. I should hope so. How long have we been doing this now? How long has the stream been going? I'm trying to see. Where are we? I can't even tell from the screen. Too long. Yes, we have, yeah. Where are we? I can't even see how long this has been going.
15 minutes.
Oh, okay. 2 hours almost.
I think you have to go on a time bar, don't you?
115 minutes, there we go. Which is not bad. Because if it was a certain other home-based
No, it's not. It's 1 hour.
streamer,
Oh, I don't know.
it would be, we'd probably have the processor in by now.
I think it's been 2 hours.
Right, let's get this Cinebench running.
115 minutes
whatever.
is 2 hours, isn't it?
Why has it not got CPU and GPU? There we go. Right, let's run both of them. So, kicked off Cinebench R20. Let's see what we have. Trent said, oh yeah, okay, no worries. Fit and Local says, hi everyone. Another of our Discord crew. WTech says, we should all thank Mike for this lockdown entertainment. This isn't entertainment, this is a serious technology channel.
Cases on heads. Peel
Yeah.
on heads.
Just because someone puts peel wrappings on their head and tries to squeeze their head through a CPU cutout doesn't mean this isn't highbrow entertainment. Linda Mavics from Toronto and Canada.
No, that she's talking to
Oh,
Sky Stalker.
ClickTech says, well, you've not spent another half an hour slagging off other YouTubers or drinking Coca-Cola. This is true. This is true. Oh, Cinebench is taking its long-ass time about things.
We can't afford Coca-Cola.
Yeah, we have to... Single core render test. I probably should have... I should have probably not did that. Because that's going to take forever. Oh well, never mind. Okay, so that's still running. Actually, let's cancel. Can I cancel that? Yes, I do want to stop it. Right, so we don't want to run single core. And let's just do the multi-core.
Entertainment.
This is Techertainment. That's a new one. I quite like that. Right, we'll see what this R20 benchmark does, and then I think we'll probably draw this to its conclusion, which I think essentially we pretty much all know what the conclusion is, in that this case, for 50 quid, pretty darn good. And yes, for an extra £10 or £15 or £20 or whatever amount of money, there's always going to be something slightly better and maybe cooler or different patterns or whatever. But as an all-rounder for a case to build in, I think the build actually went really smoothly. I didn't have any issues with putting cables through holes, apart from my own stupidity really. There's nothing on this case which I would say makes it difficult to work in. You've got plenty of room for a radiator on the top there. If you want to squeeze a radiator in there, you could do easily. Again, the cutouts are there to do it. Grommets would have been nice. A meshed front panel would have been superb, but it is what it is. And I think it actually looks quite nice. And if you were going to be buying a PC or reselling a PC to someone and you want it to look a little bit fancy, I think you could do a lot worse. You really could. WTech says basically a 1650 Super equals a 580 from what I'm seeing. Pretty much. The only difference being is the 1650 Super generally tends to be a 4 gig card. So if you do get a little bit of benefit in some games and titles for having 8 gigs on the RX580. Again, depends. If you're just doing 1080p gaming, you shouldn't find it an issue. If you're trying to get a bit of 1440p out of it, then the extra RAM is definitely going to be useful. Pierre Plays YouTube says, if I can't fit my head in it in the cutout, I'm not interested. Fitting Local says, Mike, have you ever reviewed the Arctic Freezer 34 eSport CPU cooler? Very much so. I've done the 33, the 34, and the previous one to that as well.
They've changed the names on Monopoly. On Monopoly, they've changed
Pierre Plays YouTube says, I would spend the extra and get a 1660. Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably a fair shout. Okay, so we have the Ryzen 5 2600 6-core processor, scored in Cinebench Release 20, 2772. So that puts it above a Intel Xeon X5650. It also puts it above the 4.2 GHz Intel i7 7700K. Puts it above the 6700HQ, which you'd expect. So yeah, not too bad. And not quite as good. A little bit shy of the Ryzen 7 1700 8-core. Yeah, for stock settings and considering the completely bog standard cooling setup we've got going on here, I don't think that's too bad at all. I think that's done pretty darn well. So, I think that pretty much wraps things up. Sorry, just reading the comments there. WTech says, I didn't even notice in the title that it was the new Sharkoon case. They really are stepping up the case market lately. Are they still adding Molex plugs on those case fans? Yes, they are. And I did cut them off and throw them in the bin. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps things up. Hopefully, you guys and girls have enjoyed tonight's stream. And if you have, don't forget to go ahead and stick a like on the like thing. You know what I mean. Stick a like on the video if you liked it. Stick a dislike if you disliked it, but leave a reason in the comment section why you disliked it, because that is always useful. If you can, share the stream with friends, family, relatives, whatever, just to get the message out a little bit more and help the channel grow. And hopefully in the near future we'll hit 30k, which would be absolutely amazing. Thanks to Chris's Tech Tips for sponsoring tonight's episode unofficially. Thank you for all of you who've dropped a super chat on tonight's stream. We do appreciate it massively. And like I said, the super chats, once they've been recycled through YouTube and Google, whatever we get left at the end of it, we put back into the channel. So hopefully now we can get some new tech products to keep you all salivating for them to be released. Tech. Yeah, hopefully we can keep you tech-tained for the rest of the spring and the summer. Tech-tained. Have some tech-tainment.
What was it?
We'll get there in the end. So thanks everyone. Yeah, special thanks to Chris Tech Tips for all those mad, crazy super chats. Yeah, that was bizarre. So thanks everybody. Tech-tained, that's the one. Most one. I might have to get some t-shirts made up with that. Mike's unboxing you, keeping you tech-tained. Yeah, that is wrapping things up. Again, yes, thank you so much for joining us. We've had 80, what was it, 86 or 88 was that, Kath? I can't read.
What was that?
Concurrents. 88 you wrote?
81.
80, right, we had, yeah, 80 concurrent viewers on the stream, which is pretty much insane, especially on a Sunday. Very bizarre. So thanks all for watching, and we'll catch you in the video tomorrow, which won't be a live one. It'll be a pre-recorded one. I know that because I recorded it yesterday. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'll speak to you all in the next live stream. Thank you all so much, and yeah, see you next time.